Hello everyone, and welcome to this video on 5 fun magic items from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. As you can see, we have a bit of a different setup today because of social distancing and being responsible and whatnot. With me I have Philip and Martin, and I am Anton. And if you like this video and if you want to see more D&D goodness, you can like and subscribe below. Without further ado, I think we're going to get into our items. We have selected 5 of them, one of each rarity, from the new book, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. And we would like to explain basically what they do and why we think they would be a fun addition to a campaign. So how about you start, Philip?
Okay, so first off, we have the first edition of these new magical tattoos that we get from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. We got the common item Masquerade Tattoo. It's a tattoo that, all of these magical tattoos, rather. They are placed on your body and you can magically move them around. And they vary in size depending on their rarity. But since this is a common one, it covers about your hand or your wrist. But anyway...
Very easy to disguise itself, I would say, or hide.
Yeah, very. That is one of the things that I've written down about what's so fun about it. Well, the tattoo can be used to use disguise self in yourself once a day, and as a bonus action, you can move it around freely and shape it however you want, colors, size, and what it looks like, and. That is one really fun thing. I was thinking of organizations that use tattoos as their mark of identification.
Definitely.
If you encounter one of those, you can actually just walk up, "Hey, I wanted you guys." Just show up the tattoo.
Yeah. You guys came across a couple of those in the current campaign with the Centaurim and the Sanathar Guild.
Yeah.
So it could have been useful.
Could have been really useful. And also I've been thinking it could be something to, if you make people think that, oh, there's a guy with a really clear red tattoo on his hand running around and doing weird shit, and then you do not have that tattoo. People might not actually know that it was you, because that might be one of the main things that people talk about.
Yeah,
That's
cover
smart.
half your face, kind of, like, and they are looking for
to
the
like,
tattooed man or woman.
Yeah, it's like a permanent disguise kit that you can like change out.
Yeah, that's really clever.
Constantly, a little bit. That's cool. Yeah,
that's a fun way you can probably use it. And also,
Yeah,
I mean,
for
it's flavor-wise, it's just interesting to have, and highly customizable part of your visage, really.
and I think that goes for all the tattoos.
Yeah.
Really. So I think that's part of what's the most fun about them.
Yeah, they're a great new addition, I think, as well, and I'm excited to see them in play.
Yeah, they're
really
fun new kind of achievement slot also that they don't take up the slot for cloaks or for necklaces or so, but they have their own.
The skin slot,
Yeah.
if you will. Which sounds
What skin will you wear
when you put it like that.
Yeah, indeed.
Well, regardless, shall we move on to the next one? The uncommon item that we've picked is the all-purpose tool, an artificer-only item that is able to transform between all possible artisans' tools in the game, and also granting proficiency in the tool that it turns into. So, for instance, if you find an interesting boot, you can have it turn into a set of cobbler's tools, and suddenly you are able to discern things from this boot that you were not before. So I think that has some very interesting applications. Furthermore, it gives a bonus to spell attack modifier, and it increases your spell save DC as an artificer, which is always helpful. And the uncommon version of this tool is, I believe, the lowest grade of it, with a +1. And then with increasing rarity, the bonus increases to +2 and +3. Furthermore, you can also choose any cantrip from any class and just have access to it for 8 hours every day, whenever you wanna do that. So when you set out for your adventure, when you enter a dungeon, you might say that today I'm an Eldritch Blast kind of artificer. So now I have Eldritch Blast for the day, or Mage Hand, or whatever might be useful for the moment. So I think that added to the artisan tool feature of it is it brings great utility for the artificer and plays into the class fantasy very well, I think.
Yeah, very versatile, and I mean that's the best part with a magic item like this, that you will get to use it a lot in different situations. I mean that's the most fun part about magic items, using them, right? Getting to whip out your artisans too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like as an artificer, this could be an item that kind of defines your character if you have it, at
really.
least early on, because you always have a tool for the situation.
Exactly.
It makes you a Swiss Army knife for for the party.
And
You brought it up.
I believe it could be it could even be even higher rarity, right? Become even more powerful.
Oh yes, absolutely. As mentioned, the uncommon version is only +1, I believe, and then it increases with to a +2 and a +3 depending on when in the campaign the DM wants to throw it in.
A +3 to spell save, that is wicked good.
I would honestly probably play it that if you got it early on, you would be able to upgrade it through some sort of side quest or tinkering or something like that, which would be cool.
Very fitting for an artificer as well.
Yeah.
To improve your tool as you gain proficiency in your class or something like that.
It's a really cool addition.
I couldn't help but imagine like either like the new prosthetic limb item in conjunction with this, like having a changeable tool for a hand or something like that, or a warforged that has it as a part of their body or something like that.
Yeah.
It has some cool applications.
You also brought up earlier, Anton, the example of Doctor Who and the sonic screwdriver.
For those familiar with that, yes, the screwdriver that opens any lock and so on.
Yeah, pretty awesome.
Very, very cool. Next up, I believe it's one of your items, Martin.
Yes, for the rarity, we have the Revelers Concertina, which is a magic item that requires attunement by a bard, and it gives you a +2 bonus to your saving throw DC on your bard spells. But the main feature, I think, of this item is that you can cast the spell Otto's Irresistible Dance as an action once per day, which is just an hilarious spell, I think. For those who don't know, you target a creature within 30 feet that starts to dance, comic dance, it says specifically, in place. And on their turn, they must use all their movement to dance in place and have disadvantage to attack rolls and dexterity saving throws, as well as having all attacks made against that creature being with advantage. And what's so awesome about this is that the spell automatically succeeds unless the creature you target is immune to being charmed. And the creature then has to use their action to make a saving throw and try to break free from tap dancing, whatever it is. And I mean, it's just a funny image to imagining targeting an ancient red dragon with this and just have them start tap dancing in place.
Yeah.
Even their legendary resistance can't save them until it's their turn. So even if it's just for a short moment before they scorch you with their breath weapon, you will see something that I think very few players have.
Well, I mean,
that's peak D&D right there.
You'll even interrupt them and making them waste their action, possibly.
Yeah, or one legendary resistance as well. It's just an awesome item, I think, and like the +2 saving throw DC bonus is key for bards, as many of their spells are based on saving throws.
It's just straight up an upgrade to any bard, and then with the added like cherry on top of the dance spell, really.
Yeah,
and
I mean, pretty much.
Oh, sorry, Philip.
Pretty much everything bards does. I mean, it's DC. They make people do saves all the time.
Yeah, And I think it's such a great opportunity for a bard to further like emphasize the comedic value of this item, as it is a concertina, which to me is a bit of a comedic item or instrument by itself, a small accordion that you can play. I imagine like pirates or a classic Disney song kind of being
yeah, for sure. Yeah, and since it is an instrument as well, you can use it to cast your bard spells. Technically.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're proficient with it.
I mean, for sure.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think we've had. Funny. I don't think we had many accordion-based or concertina-based musical instruments that is magic items so far.
No.
Right? So it's another one added to the list, which is great. Variety is great and fun.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, moving on to the next item on our list, it is the Cauldron of Rebirth. Also a very exciting item.
Yeah, this is a very interesting item, I think, and very powerful, rightfully so, as it is very rare, I guess. It is a tiny pot or a cauldron that requires attunement by a druid or warlock, and can be used as a spellcasting focus for druid spells, it says in the text, but I would allow warlocks to use it as well for their spellcasting. This makes sense.
Same.
Yeah. This pot is a suitable component for using the scrying spell, which is one of my favorite spells in the game, just so useful. And when you finish a long rest, you can create a free greater healing potion that you have to use within 24 hours, else it loosens its potency. And as an action, you can make the cauldron grow to be big enough for a medium creature to crouch inside. And here is the big kicker, I think, for this magic item. If you place a humanoid corpse inside the cauldron when it's big and cover it with salt, costing just 10 GP for the amount needed, 200 pounds, I believe it is. And then you let this corpse lie in the cauldron with the salt for 8 hours. The creature will be revived as if by the Raise Dead spell.
Yeah, just that property makes it a really, really good item to have for the entire party.
Really valuable, yeah.
Which makes it really nice that they made it attunable by both druids and warlocks, because that means a lot of different kind of parties can have it.
Yeah, and if you have both in your party, if the druid dies, the warlock can just use it, or vice versa.
They can just attune to it, and then the Raise Dead spell. I think it's they can be dead for 10 days.
10 days it is, yeah. It should be said, though, this ability of the cauldron has a recharge time of 7 days. So you can only do it once a week, but hopefully you won't be dying too often.
Yeah.
Mm. And why is this item fun then? Well, besides the reason, the reasons we just listed, I mean, I can just imagine using it in combat.
Yeah.
Like throwing down a small pot, making it big, jump inside and hide, or cast spells from inside it while you cover inside your large pot.
Yeah, you created like a small watchtower.
I mean, what if you set up an ambush? Since you have to use an action to enlarge the cauldron, what if you do it beforehand? Then you just like plop out a cauldron randomly and people come up to investigate and bam.
Yeah.
You just surprise them from the cauldron.
Absolutely. I also like the role-playing, initiative for role-playing with this item. Like you can really play a witch with this one, I think. Either as a druid or as a warlock. Like to have your magic cauldron. And if you're proficient with like cooking supplies or maybe a herbalist's kit, you could brew other things inside.
Or one of the new feats, chef.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You could use that salt for something.
Yeah.
Preferably before you revive
after bathing your friend's dead body.
Just awesome.
Well, I mean, technically you could also grift people and sell them greater healing potions and then swiftly move on to the next town over before they lose their potency.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
that's a great source of income. Or if you don't plan on dying within a week, offer resurrection for someone
Ooh.
for a very hefty amount.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, interesting. It's a powerful item indeed. But it does require attunement, so it's kind of an out of combat item that requires attunement. So it's kind of a big cost for a character. So it makes sense that it would be powerful.
Yeah, and I mean it's very rare, so you will probably find it a bit later in your campaigns, even if you're playing to level 20.
Yeah.
I would.
Likely.
But also, since it's the Raise Dead spell and you can wait for 10 days, it doesn't really matter if it's attunable, because you can just unattune and then, oh, wait, they died. Or even 2 people in our party died. Let's use the pot. And you attune, and then you use it, and then 7 days later, I'll use it again on the other one who died.
You're completely right. You're completely right.
So, I mean, it's so good.
You just have to protect your druid and or warlock.
Well, yeah. With the remaining party members.
Exactly. For the greater good and so forth. Coming up on the legendary category, we had a plethora of choices. Wouldn't you say so, Friedrich?
Absolutely. We had one to choose from. But it's a fun one, so it doesn't matter.
Luckily, it's a good one.
Yeah.
Would you tell us about it?
Yeah. It's another tattoo, actually. It's this time it's the Blood Fury tattoo. And since it's a legendary one, it covers 2 entire limbs and your torso. So this is a major character design
Enhancer.
Enhancer, yeah. Really, I just looking for the word. This item has 10 charges, and you can use in a one way. You can expend a charge to deal 4d6 extra necrotic damage when you hit with a weapon attack. This works both with melee and ranged weapon attacks. So if you shoot with a bow, boom, 4d6 damage. And you also regain hit points equal to that necrotic damage dealt. And the other way you can use it is if someone damages you, you can use your reaction and a charge to make a melee attack with advantage on that attack. Those are the 2 different ways you can use those charges, and they recharge every dawn, I believe.
Daily at least, yeah.
Yeah, so you got 10 of
so.
those charges. So you got a total of 40 d6s of necrotic damage potentially during each day that you can dish out.
It really deserves the legendary status for sure.
Yeah.
I think with this damage, like imagine if you're a monk, able to do flurry of blows and just like lay waste to someone.
Yeah.
With 4 or 5 of these charges at once.
Yeah, or like the bloodthirsty barbarian who is covered in wounds, and you like cut down your enemies and recharging or healing by inflicting wounds on.
Yeah,
others.
or using it like on when you if you're an assassin rogue and you're critting at the start of combat with your sneak attack, and you add the extra 4d6 necrotic damage.
Yeah,
and you just.
I mean that's a good point with this, because it is kind of like having access to divine smite on any character, right? Because you can choose to do it when you hit,
which also
so you can see if you crit first.
Yeah.
If you would like to, so that's pretty great.
Yeah. Another classic example we brought up earlier is if you're a shape-shifting druid, like especially a Circle of the Moon druid, like this is a very potent magic item for that class as well. And I can imagine like turning into we talked about the T-Rex, the classical one, but I mean even less imposing beasts and so on, like a bear, but you're covered with a like epic tattoo or so.
Yeah,
it would just be awesome.
It gives cool flavor. And if you play with the kind of semi-official blood hunter class, you could also use that life drain to fuel your own abilities, as they use their HP for a lot of their powers.
I mean that is
so that's pretty good synergy there if you are playing with that class. Yeah.
Quite so.
And the final item on our list is they are the teeth of Dalvernar, I think is how you pronounce it. And now that I am thinking about it, actually, we don't have 5 magic items. We have 6.
Oh.
Wow. One bonus.
One bonus item.
Congratulations.
We can count.
We can count, indeed. So
As
anyway,
a bonus
this is
for you, our watchers.
Yeah,
We added one more item to the list.
yes, because this one is special because it is an artifact. And this artifact is very unique, like artifacts tend to be. They are often campaign-defining magical items. You seldom find more than one artifact at a time because they are so powerful and they often have very rich stories associated with them and epic quests and so on. And this artifact is just seemingly a normal little pouch that contains 20 different magical teeth. And what you do with this is that as an action, you can pull a random tooth from the bag and you roll a d20 and see what you get from a list of the different teeth. And then you have the choice to either sew it into the ground, like planting it or dropping it into water, or you can implant it into your own mouth permanently. And you can't take it out afterwards. And just one example, one very powerful example, but one example of this is there is one tooth that either allows you to summon a friendly ancient red dragon to work as your ally for 10 minutes, or you can implant the tooth and gain access to the ancient red dragon's breath weapon for yourself, which is kind of insane.
And that's permanently, right?
Yes.
I mean,
there is a recharge on it.
Yeah, of course. Like they do have themselves, the dragons.
Yes, and many of these teeth do have negative effects as well as positive, which is also interesting. And I really like this because it kind of similar to the deck of many things. It has that element of randomness, the kind of chaotic, like what's it going to be this time? Is this tooth going to be the tooth that breaks this villain, or is it going to like turn us all to mush? Because the thing is, you have your turn to choose whether you want to implant the tooth or sew it. But if you do neither, then the thing gets summoned. For instance, the ancient red dragon gets summoned, and it's hostile, or whatever suits the particular creature, which could potentially be very bad. So it's kind of a Hail Mary item, I would say.
Yeah, because we talked about the point, right? It's not quite clear on the item text, but like as we read it, you might not even know what tooth you draw. Like you might not know the effects of it until you use it. Right?
Yeah, I'm not certain actually. I think that would be. I think it would be cool either way, but it would sort of make sense for you not to know.
Yeah.
In one way.
Yeah, add some excitement, or even more.
Add some extra excitement. But I think this is one of those items that it's very important that you, like, if you choose to add this into a game, that you kind of know your players and know what they find fun. If you're playing with a group that doesn't find chaos and like randomness as fun, then you probably should be careful with items like this.
Yeah.
But if you enjoy that kind of stuff, and especially if the party is powerful enough to deal with the various shenanigans that might occur, then it's just like a scenario generator, if you will.
Yeah, it's really great, and I think it's a good point to bring up that the description of this magic item is maybe even as long as all the other magic items combined. It's a hefty magic item.
It's a doozy. And part of it is that each tooth is associated with a particular story. I believe it is from the world of Greyhawk, but I'm not certain. But each tooth has a connection to a named story, and potentially you could construct a quest where the characters, for some reason, have to destroy the teeth, and the only way of destroying them, as written in the book, is to kind of go to the place where the stories originated, and then use that particular tooth at that location, and then defeat the creature, or kind of live the story. So that opens up a lot of cool possibilities, I think.
Yeah, and the pouch itself, if all teeth are used or so on, doesn't it say that it reappears somewhere completely different later?
Yeah, kind of like the deck of many things. Like when it
Yeah.
gets empty, it just poofs out, and then somewhere in the multiverse, a new full sack or pouch of teeth appears. So that's also a way you could use it if you wanted to be a little more selective as a DM. You could potentially give your party a not like a partially emptied pouch that only has 10 of the teeth remaining, or something like that.
Only the negative ones, right?
all of them have some good stuff, but they have some drawbacks too. It's a very interesting and complicated item, but I like it a lot, and it was really hard to choose between the artifacts because they even made it a point of having several different new artifacts in this book, and it was difficult choosing which one, but this was just the one that spoke to me the most. But that's not to say that the mortar and pestle of Baba Yaga is not awesome as well, because
or the mech suit,
or the mech suit, or the hook that opens up a permanent demon portal. It's there are a lot of good ones, and I strongly recommend that people check out the rest of them for themselves. And with that, unless you have anything to add, I think that wraps up our list of fun magic items for now. It's been great having you, and if you are still watching, thank you very much, and feel free to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos of this nature. And we hope to see you next time.
See ya.
Goodbye.
Bye.